Now, there's really, I don't want you to know anything else, but look at the colors. I'm a color person. That's green from the old map. What color are we now? Yellow. What does that mean? It's gotten hotter. So this map was a compilation of data from 74 to 86. Very small data set. This is from 76 to 2005, so it took a longer period of time and gave us a more accurate assessment of what the average temperatures are doing. Take-home message is it's getting warmer. I believe we're in zone 7A right now. We were in 6B in different parts of Middle Tennessee, but it's getting warmer. Okay? So here's the new map, and you can see most of, I think, all of Rutherford County is in 7A. So statistically, it's been warming in the last 30 years. So let's talk about watering. So let me ask you, I'm going to give you some questions. How do you water your garden now? Just raise your hand or tell me.
Just like that.
You water like this guy? Like Norman Rockwell?
At the base of the plant.
At the base of the plant?
I use drip system.
Drip system. So everybody has a different way of watering. Not every way is right, not every way is wrong. I'm going to hopefully give you some pointers as to how to efficiently water, minimize disease, and minimize plant stress. Okay? So this is what I call the hydration snowball. Plants need water a minimum of 1 inch per week. You hear this term a lot, 1 inch per week. What does that mean? Well, think about the depth of water at 1 inch per week. On average, that's what plants need. It's probably going to be hot and dry in Middle Tennessee in most years, okay? Plants will transpire faster and will need supplemental irrigation. So when the outside conditions are hot and dry, your plants are losing. Just like you go outside on a 98-degree day, you're going to sweat, right? Our plants do the same thing. So they are losing moisture when the conditions are like they are today. Plants can become stressed from heat and drought, just like me and you can become stressed. You put me out there in a garden, standing there for 12 hours a day in the heat, I'm not going to be very happy. I'm pretty cranky naturally. Put me out in the heat, I'm extra cranky. Okay? Stressed plants are weaker. So just like people, when you're stressed and not happy, you are more susceptible to diseases and to insect infestation. So your plants already have a target on them. And they actually emit pheromones to bugs and other diseases that says, I'm not happy, I'm stressed. And those insects and those diseases know where to parasitize the plants. So again, they become susceptible to disease, insect, and viruses. Poor yield and plant death can occur. Take home of any garden should be a bumper crop, a yield. So if our plants are stressed and they have disease and insects, you're not going to get anything. And you're going to be one unhappy gardener. So that's the hydration snowball. So I'm going to show you some different watering categories. And you will probably fit into one of these categories, okay? The first type of water is the soak it till you choke it water. I see a lot of these every day. How many of you would consider yourself a soak it till you choke it water? You water every day, regardless whether it rained 8 inches the night before, 12 inches the next day. You go out there with your hose and you stand. And it's therapy for you to hear that water coming out of the hose. And your plants are slowly drifting away in the wash that goes away. How many of you water like that? At least you're honest. Thank you. Thank you. A lot of people use what I call the tripod of death to be the soaker till you choke water. How many of you have a tripod spraying sprinkler?
I looked at one, but
You didn't go all the way. Good. How many of you have driven by a garden and just seen these going?
Why is that bad?
It's bad for a couple reasons, and we haven't quite got there yet.
Okay.
So I'm building the excitement. So just hang with me. So I call this the tripod of death. That's all you need to know for now. Okay? How many of you have seen this running at 12 noon on a 98-degree day? Go drive around about within a 5-mile radius. You'll probably see 10 of these going today. On the hottest day of the year, direct sunlight, somebody will be out there watering their garden. And I love, as a child, this was one heck of a thing right here. I mean, I grew up in the suburbs of Cleveland, and a sprinkler, wow, that was just something else. For a garden, nay. It's a dud. Don't do it. And there's the guy, therapy. Look at him, just soaking it. Was that you? Our second category, that's what rain is for, water. Now, how many of you, regardless of how hot and how dry it is, you don't water because you believe in rain?
He
doesn't do it, right?
Until it rains.
This is his garden. He just waits for this, right? And his garden probably looks like this, right? Now, last year, you probably could get away with it. Early this year, you could get away with it. Right now, that's the result. Your plants are not going to survive much longer. Okay? So these are the people that need to take up xeriscaping. Have you seen this new concept of landscape architecture? Xeri, xeriscaping. They do it in Arizona and out west. It's rocks. If you're a wait till it rains, grow rocks. That's for you.
You don't need to do that, right? Yeah.
Not in Rutherford County. We already have them, right? We got all the rock we need. And then the third type of water is the aquatic hydro electrical mechanical engineer water. They overcomplicate watering like you wouldn't believe. Okay? And I fall somewhere into this category. I don't know. I'm trying to heal myself. They develop a schematic. They have drafted plans. They have computerized programs. And I look at it and I say, I'm smart, but I'm not that smart. What is this? And how do you plan to water your veggies? They've got stuff like this hooked up to all their outlets and hoses, and I say, this is an electrical hazard. You're going to kill yourself because you've got electrical outlets and things and then water, and they don't mix well. And yeah, how many of you have seen this before? I have. I go out to a lot of, people don't call me when things are going well as an extension agent, and they call me when things have gone bad. It's a depressing life. And a lot of times I will go out and they'll say, I've had an irrigation disaster, and I'll go out and see this, and I say, I can't help you. There's nothing I can do for your craziness. You can't fix crazy. So there is a better way. So did you see yourself in one of those categories? I hope, maybe. Maybe you don't have a garden at all. Maybe you've never watered in your life. So you don't have bad habits yet. I don't know. Gravity drip irrigation, the savior of the garden vegetable. And that's kind of what I'm going to show you today. This is a micro irrigation kit. I mentioned this earlier on, but maybe not everybody heard it. I'm going to show you it in here, and then Janie has a garden set up out back that we can actually go out and see it in action. So if it doesn't make sense in here, don't worry, we'll go outside and I'll show it to you up close and in person. You asked me, why is your tripod bad? Okay, this is better because a couple reasons. When you get water on the foliage, it creates a microclimate for fungus. Especially when it's hot like this and humid, if you've got standing moisture on your leaves, fungus just thrives in that condition. So really what we want to try to do with our plants is they will pull in some water through the leaves, but they really pull in most of it through the root system. And that's where it's actually most effectively used by the plants. So watering at a sub-level like that is really going to be, it's going to help minimize diseases. So that's really the biggest drawback to overhead irrigation is it really stimulates diseases. So they're great for letting your kids run around. You set that sucker up, kids, the neighborhood children will just flock to your yard like that, whether you want them to or not. So the quote of the guy that turned me on to this, he says, it's so easy, it's stupid, and I can attest to that because I'm pretty stupid on certain occasions, and I can figure this out. And I'm a Polak, I don't know if you can tell by my last name, Stefanski. And for a Cleveland Polak to be able to do this, hey, you can do it too, have hope. Okay? It saves a lot of time and money. When you're out there holding that wand, getting garden therapy, you're wasting water and you're wasting your time and you're wasting a whole lot of money. Water is not cheap, okay? So it's easy to operate and install. Tough and durable, not overly engineered. These kits are actually designed to go to Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, where it's hot and dry and it doesn't rain for months at a time. They use these in Zimbabwe and Kenya and they last for 10 years. And you'd be amazed at how resilient the farmers are there to fix this and repair it. So these kits are made to last, okay? They're very durable. It efficiently uses the water. Nothing is wasted. You know, when somebody has to walk in Kenya with a bucket of water on their head for 3 miles, they don't want to waste that water. When they get it to the garden, they want to throw it in the system and use it efficiently. So the same is true at your house. It reduces foliar diseases, as I just mentioned. You're not getting water on the foliage at all. It's all going right down to the root system. You can fertigate. How many of you know what this term fertigation is? This is your $10 word for the day. We got one smart man. Tell us what fertigation is.
Where you apply fertilizer as you water.
As you water. What a concept. Fertilizing your garden as you water. So, I'll kind of explain to you how that works. But that is really such a great resource. Without having to side dress and not having to do all this, you just apply a water-soluble fertilizer and it drips right into the lines. And it promotes healthy root systems and healthy plants. When I use this every year, and I have trial gardens. I do a disease trial with tomatoes, and I do if you've ever been to the Wilson County Fair, tiny little fair in Wilson County. 590,000 people last year, but I'm the Master Gardener Advisor in Wilson County, and we have a demo garden, and we use this every year. But I say that to say, when I pull my tomato plants out every year, my root systems on one tomato will stretch about 20 feet. And the roots are almost as wide as this drip tape. So it just really promotes a healthy, durable, strong plant. And the plants really, once you Probably for the first month of summer I'll water. After that I don't have to water at all because those root systems are so healthy that they can pull up water when it's there or not on the surface. They're able to seek it out. So this was the first year that I did this. This is in my trial garden in Lebanon behind my office. And this is the system in action right here. This system works off of a little concept called gravity. If I was to fall over, I would hit the ground. That's gravity, right? So that's how this works. There's no mechanical engineering involved in it. It's just the flow of water, okay? I'll kind of explain how this is operating, but essentially you have a water source. Notice I have a 5-gallon bucket here. In this garden, you can use a 55-gallon drum. It's elevated, okay? And then the lines are taking the water down to the drip tape. Okay, so that's how this is basically working. Does that make sense? I'll explain in a lot more detail. But gravity is what's pulling the water into the lines. So I use Microsoft Paint, a wonderful program, and I made this advanced diagram for you today. What do you think? My advanced. You should have seen my non-advanced diagram. So anyways, again, here's your water source. So let's just say this is our 5-gallon bucket. Okay? In the bottom of that 5-gallon bucket, this is the hardest part of the whole thing. You have to drill a 1-inch hole in the bottom of the bucket. And as a Pollock, that's a dangerous proposition. I've seen a lot of bad drilling accidents occur. You drill a 1-inch hole in the bottom of the bucket. There is a plug that comes with. The particular company that I get these from is called Chapin or Jane Irrigation. So you get this plug, okay? There's two parts. This part, the threads go down, and the bottom part screws on the bottom. So if you look inside my bucket here, you can see I put the top piece in, the bottom piece, voila, screws right on, okay? And the bottom of that is an additional plug. I will pass this around. It has 2 holes and a screen, okay? So I'll pass that around for you. I have arrows and things to show this. So the average system that works with this tape, they say every 1 meter, which is like 39 inches and somehow change, but somehow we've discovered that 42 inches is the most efficient, will irrigate 100 linear feet of drip line. Okay? I know that you're wrapping your brains around that right now. I can see the look of confusion. 42 inches off the ground, no matter if it's a 5-gallon bucket, a 55-gallon drum, or 10,000 gallons of water, it can irrigate 100 feet of this tape. Here's 100 feet, efficiently, okay, at the right regulated rate, okay? So, you have your bucket, 42 inches up, you drill your hole, you don't drill your fingers or your hand, you put your plug in, then that screen plug goes in the bottom, okay? I'll pass that around for y'all. You really want to get up close. Then there is a supply line. This is the supply line here that then connects. If you look in the bottom of that plug I was passing around those 2 holes, this supply line, 2 of them connect in the bottom of that. But I'll show it to you in action. Okay? So there's your supply lines in my advanced diagram. Reverse thread screw is let's see if I have that piece independently. Here it is. You want to show how complicated this is? Watch. That's it. You do that. Then the tape itself, which I've already got it connected here, it's called a reverse thread screw because the threads go backwards. Uh-oh.
Some people call that a left hand.
A left hand, I like that even better. A left hand thread. So here's your tape. Again, I'm a Pollock, I can do it, so can you. And then you left hand thread it. So now you've seen where we're coming here. We have a bucket, we have our supply line, we have our left hand threaded screw, and then we have what we call header tape. The header tape does not have holes in it, okay? And I'll explain. Again, this is kind of confusing until you see pictures of it set up. Well, let's see if I can. We've lost our PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Let me see if I can find Janie.